So solve the quadratic equation by completing the square. If you didn't do it by completing the square, you probably got marked down for it. So you're looking for the number to add in here that will complete the square. To find that number, you take the b, this part, -8, you divide it by 2, and then you're going to square it. When you do -8 divided by 2, you get -4, and -4 squared is 16. That's the magic number that you're going to add, plus 16 to both sides. Okay, this then, the left-hand side factors into x minus 4. It's minus because it's a minus there. The 4 and because there, so it's minus 4 squared. And then that -3 and 16 is going to make a 13. Now, it's just like the other problem where we use the square root principle. Take the square root of both sides. Don't forget the plus or minus. You get x minus 4 equals plus or minus the square root of 13. You're going to add 4 to both sides. And so your answers are x equals 4 minus the square root of 13 and 4, whoops, plus the square root of 13. Or you could use the plus or minus 4 plus or minus the square root of 13. Again, put the radical back, please. Okay, be nasty about that. All right, solve this problem. It doesn't say how to solve it, but it is a quadratic. Factoring is not going to be the easiest way to do this problem. I don't think it factors. It's going to be difficult to complete the square, although not too bad. I would just use the formula. So to use the formula, I'm talking about using the quadratic formula. The opposite of b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. A lot of people love the quadratic formula. It's your go-to, it's your backup when another way looks tricky. It's not always the easiest method to use, but it is our backup. So here's a, 3, and b is 6, and c is 4. So we're going to plug those all in. The opposite of 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 3 times 4 all over 2 times 3. Okay. So what's tricky about this is it's not so much finding the a, b, and c and putting it in the formula, although the formula is a little long. The tricky thing is simplifying it. So if I go this way, I'm going to have -6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared is 36 minus, okay, so 16 times 3 is 48 over 6. Keep going. -6 plus or minus. Now, what do we get here? 36 minus 48 is a -12. Sometimes students don't like to put the negative on that 12, but it is negative. And it makes a big difference in our answers. Okay, it means we're going to get irrational answers. Okay, this is how I would complete it. So I'm going to come around here. -6 plus or minus. That's going to be an I times the square root of 12. I'll do it in 2 pieces so you can see it. Now, 12 is 4 times 3. 4 you can take the square root of. So it's 2i square root 3 over 6. We're not quite done, but we're getting there. What if I factor out 2 in the numerator? I have -3 plus or minus I square root 3 over 6. Then I can cancel the 2 and the 6. And so my answers wind up being -3 minus I square root 3 over 3 and -3 plus I square root 3. Oh, that was supposed to be a 3, wasn't it? Over 3. I just left them that way. There's other ways you could write it in a plus bi form. And I think I did that too. You could have had, here's an alternative answer, -1 plus or minus square root 3 over 3i. That's more in the a plus bi form. But either way, you didn't have to do both. Okay, hopefully that helps. Simplifying now that we're talking about i's, so we have 2 plus 4i minus 3 plus 5i. You're distributing the minus sign, plus 6 minus I. Okay, so take the real parts, 2, -3, and 6. Add those together and you're going to get 5. Take the imaginary part, 4i, 5i, minus I. So 4 and 5 is 9, minus 1. It's going to be plus 8. That's the answer. It's like combining like terms. Multiply and simplify. This is a foiling thing. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4i is 8i. Negative 3i times 3 is negative 9i. And negative 3i times 4i is negative 12i squared. Sometimes people forget to put the square, and then that's going to be a problem. Okay, so we have a couple things going on. First of all, I squared is equal to negative 1. So I have 6 plus 8i minus 9i, which I can combine those. I'll do that later. And then I have minus 12 times negative 1. Okay, so 6, okay, I'll go ahead and combine them now. Minus I, 8i and negative 9i. And then this is going to become a plus 12. So the 6 and the 12 are going to make 18. And so you're going to have 18 minus I. Again, the imaginary part should go at the back. So it should be at the 18 minus I. Okay.